It's one of the most highly anticipated games coming out this year, and we don't have to wait for it too long anymore. Tears of the Kingdom. The sequel to the innovative and esteemed Breath of the Wild is finally within their grasp. If you can afford it at least. But does it live up to the hype? We can only definitely know when the game comes out. But for now, we can take a look at what it promises and judge it from that perspective. So let's take a closer look at what we've seen from the game so far, and see if it's enough to tempt us to shell out 70 buckaroos. So, most of the story is unknown to us. And well, that's the fun part. Nintendo has been intentionally vague about it, but we prefer that rather than spoiling everything from the get-go. We can hazard a guess from the trailers that Nintendo has shown so far. And if you want a more detailed breakdown of our theories regarding the story, you can check out our theory video based on the trailer information. Sometime after the events of Breath of the Wild, Link and Zelda embark on another journey. On their journey, they find Ganon in a cavern sealed by a magic hand. Ganon then somehow wakes up from his slumber and spreads malice throughout the caverns and across the lands of Hyrule, causing Link and Zelda to be separated from one another. Come to think of it, the trailer makes it feel like it's a Skyward Sword situation. So join new and old faces as we witness the epic journey of Link, accompanied by the champions and the people of Hyrule, as he finds a way to reunite with Zelda, stop Ganon, and bring back peace to the land.
Link! You must find me.
From what we've seen from the trailers, the base game is largely the same as in Breath of the Wild. You run, climb, ride, and glide your way around the vast land of Hyrule to explore, gather items, and get stronger. However, there have been a few additions to Link's kit that adds some changes into the game, and lets you be a little more creative with how you use your items and how you traverse the even more varied terrain. The gameplay trailer presented by Eiji Aonuma showed us 4 main additions to Link's arsenal of magical, technologically advanced tools. Recall is the first one that was shown in the gameplay trailer. It rewinds the motion of an object, allowing for very creative uses. In the Eiji Aonuma presentation, we saw it used to roll back the debris that fell from the sky. This was also used as an elevator to reach the sky islands floating overhead. In the other trailers, we saw that it could be used offensively. Rolling back an Octorok's rock into its own face, talk about having a taste of your own medicine. Recalling a rolling spike back into the center? Yes please! Fuse is up next, and this one is particularly interesting. This ability allows you to put 2 objects together to make a new weapon with different effects. In the gameplay trailer, we see Mr. Aonuma take on a new enemy type, a construct with a stick. After the fight, the stick was just about to break when he fused it with a boulder to create a makeshift hammer. So it not only makes the new item stronger, but it can also restore durability. There are other ways of using this ability. You can take a long stick and attach a pitchfork to it to create an even longer range weapon. You can even attach an eye to your arrows and somehow make homing arrows. I'm sure there are more combinations to try out, and we can't wait to discover all the creative ways we can use our materials and weapons. Ultra Hand is much like Fuse but used for materials other than weapons. In the trailer, Mr. Aonuma showed us how he put together some logs and 2 fans in order to create a boat to make it across the river. This ability is how we get the various vehicles that we see Link ride in some of the trailers. Like the car-looking thing, hot air balloon, quadcopter, and even this makeshift mech? Can we even call that a mech? And it seems you can keep them running as long as you have battery. We don't know exactly how this battery works yet, but we're looking forward to finding out. The Fuse and Ultra Hand abilities will be the one thing on everyone's minds, we think. If you thought people speedrunning Breath of the Wild and making full creative use of the physics was mind-blowing, wait until we see people playing around with these 2 new abilities. It'll surely showcase the creativity of the players again. Ascent is the last ability shown in the gameplay trailer. It allows you to phase through roofs to get to the level above. So instead of climbing up with stamina, you can use this instead to easily get up to another level. They did mention that it will have a few restrictions, so we're looking forward to seeing how far we can take this ability as well. All these new abilities were added in order to properly deal with the increased verticality of the map. And speaking of the map, we get a few new places to explore. I'm sure most of you have already seen the Sky Islands, but we also get new caves to venture into, and are those new dungeons popping up from the ground? maybe the fans will finally get the traditional Zelda dungeons that they wanted after all. Other than the new areas, we also get revamps of some familiar places. We see in the trailer what looks like a Hateno village with a new look, and an interesting looking tower overlooking the village. We see you being cheeky there, Nintendo. Outside of Hateno, there are also settlements that have popped up around the ruins of Hyrule Castle, and what looks like a restored Hyrule Castle to top it all off. And of course, it's not a Zelda game if we don't get new puzzles. We have new mechanics and machines to encounter to tickle the brain cells a little as we explore the map. Last but not the least, we have even more varied types of enemies, such as what looks like the revival of the Redeads, new Bokoblin types, and a new type of enemy called Constructs which can also wield fused weaponry. And it would be so egregious of us not to mention the return of the Big Daddy antagonist himself, Ganondorf. And boy is he a Big Daddy. What kind of gimmicks and tricks will we go up against when we finally go toe-to-toe with the man himself? I guess we'll find out in the release. Tears of the Kingdom largely follows the same look and feel of Breath of the Wild. Aside from the new characters, items, and areas they had to design, Tears of the Kingdom largely retains the same feel. The graphics and art style still have that soft, almost like it's painted, look to the environment and characters. The Breath of the Wild style even carries over to the sound design. The sound effects of the new abilities, despite being different, sounds at home and very similar to the BOTW abilities like Stasis and Magnesis.
この岩にこうするとはい、登っていきますね。
From what little we've heard from the Aonuma gameplay trailer, it still keeps that calm and subtle vibe that we got from the Breath of the Wild soundtrack.
はい、枝が落ちてますね。こういうのはね、どんどん取っていきましょう。あときっと役に立つんで。行ってみましょう。
And since we're on the topic of sound, the voice actors are also reprising their roles for Tears of the Kingdom.
I know why I am here. It's something only I can do.
And we can't forget the big news of Matthew Mercer lending his voice to play good old Ganondorf.
Look away. You witness a king's revival and the birth of his new world.
We can now put that kanji Tatsumi image on top of Ganondorf's dialogue to get that really angry and broody kanji.
Rise, rise, my servants. Eliminate this kingdom and her allies.
There's a lot to look forward to in Tears of the Kingdom from what we've seen, and who knows what else is there to see and experience. Mr. Aonuma said that he wanted to explore more of the player's creativity this time around, and it seems like they've definitely caught people's eyes and curiosities with the addition of the new abilities. And the lore! We can't wait to hear more about this iteration of Hyrule's history and story. Like, who are the Zonai? What are the Sky Islands? Where are the Sheikah Towers and Shrines? How do we beat Ganon? So many questions, and the only way to answer them is through playing the game ourselves. Considering all that we've seen from the trailers and teasers, we're giving Tears of the Kingdom a tentative score of 9. We're eagerly waiting for Nintendo to take our breath away and leave us in tears in this new game. Will this Zelda earn the 10 on its release? Subscribe to catch the full review when we get our hands on the game. In the meantime, why not check out our other content on gaming news, reviews, and more. Until then, this is Game Made Information Station, signing off.